Dzogchen versus Zen. Do you know the difference between these two schools? If you would like to know these different, please stay to the end, my friend, because I have something very interesting to share with you. In this masterclass, you will learn the two schools of the direct, spontaneous approach and the gradual path to enlightenment. Also, you will get the inspiration of the deep knowledge of each of them, and you will also know the lineage that they come all original from the Buddha himself. So please stay to the end, my friend. My name is Jose T. Gomez. I have been studying and practice Zen Buddhism, and also I am practicing the Dzogchen for more than 30 years and integrate both of them in myself. And I see the common points and also the difference. And because this is a very interesting, a very subtle subject, I would like to explain based on my own studies and experience. So I would like to start with Zen. It's a Japanese word for Chang in China. It's starting with the Buddha himself, called the flower sermon, where the Buddha gets what he says a flower, a red lotus, and bring up and shows to the audience of monks, and then Mahakasyapa pick up the meaning and is smiling to the Buddha, and the Buddha is smiling, confirming that he understood the meaning. He got the meaning of this symbolic gesture of the Buddha, and he is starting a lineage. His lineage is transmitted through the Indian teachers of his time. Is ending with Bodhidharma, then he is going to China. He through the Buddha king and emperor invited him, and then he went there and South China through boat, and then he went to the north, and then he is starting after a few years. Then we know the story that he was facing the war for 9 years, and then after that the people starting to gather around him. Then he is starting to teach in the essence of the Mahayana. By the way, he is a follower of what is called the Lankavatara Sutra, which is mean only mind school. They found very common points with the Chinese Taoism, observers of the natural and the ordinary mind. So they understood the ordinary mind and the only mind of Buddhism. They complement perfectly. And from this it comes the Chang, which is a translation of meditation, and like the school of meditation, the essence of Mahayana synthesized in meditation, Chang. And then through China is going to Korea, then from Korea is going to Japan, and Japan pronounced Zen. My personal experience with Zen starting more than 30 years ago, when I was reading a koan. I was reading a koan, I was sitting in meditation, and certainly, boom, I break through into an experience that I don't know how to describe, but the only thing that I could say, I went to see a Buddhist teacher, and I tell him, I have this experience, and my conclusion is that it's all is mind. And he looked at me and he said, good, but you need to go deeper than that. After a few years of study the Perfection Wisdom Sutra, and then I started to realize that it's not all only mind, but things are interdependent with the mind. At that time I tell again to the teacher, everything is coming from the mind and is interdependent with the mind. So then he looked at me and then said, good, now you have right understanding. After that, my connection with Zen is through martial arts. Actually, I practice for more, let's to say, probably, yes, 30 years with Aikido. And the Aikido is also based on the samurais. the Zen, there was a time where the Takuan Zen monk, he integrates the teachings of Buddhism, of Zen, with the martial arts, with the samurai Miyamoto Musashi. So they were exchanging teachings between them. And he saw how Miyamoto Musashi in his fight, he stays on his posture. It was just beyond mind, just empty mind. And he could confront the others spontaneously and free. Miyamoto Musashi here, he make a statue representing this, and he put on this Vajrapani, which is this called in Japanese, Futomio. Then he put the sword, representing the wisdom sword, and a posture of what is called power, So wisdom, mind, and power, representing this attitude of empty mind, wisdom, mind, and power simultaneously. The Miyamoto Musashi wrote a book of what is called Fire Rings, and in his chapter of the poet, he wrote this: when you realize everything is empty, and you see this emptiness in everything, you understood the true void. Here you can understand how these two masters, they integrate these two arts in integration of body and mind. For example, Miyamoto Musashi was painting Bodhidharma. The founder of the Aikido, Murray Ueshiba, who in his book, The Art of Peace, he wrote, those who don't understand emptiness, they don't understand the true way of the Aikido. Because this is the essence of the true martial arts, body and mind, and they have the wisdom mind, then they are victorious, then they undefeated, because such a state of mind. So now we'll go to Tibet. Why? The Tibetan tradition of Dzogchen and Zen, they have a little debate in Tibet, and it was on the time where the king Tizon China, in the Duhan area, he was a Zen monk. He is teaching the Subit path. And the king was curious, and he brought him to Tibet to teach to Lhasa. And he was around for a few years teaching. And he has a few followers. But the king, he was suspicious, something wrong with the way this monk is teaching. So he disagreed with this kind of teaching. So the followers, they started to complain and say, no, he's good, this is a real path and this. And he said, okay, let's see. I will sponsor a debate, and I will bring the high debate knowledge master from India, Kamala Silla, and will bring the monk Han to debate together, and whoever wins, then will follow. And that is tradition actually in India and Tibet. They make debates and they follow the winner. And that is why the debates, they were really serious. And they were like here, we have cricket, rugby and football. There were so many people following and very passionate about this. But the truth, it was that the winner, it was the commitment of the king to follow them, and the loser inspired him to back to his country and finish. Obviously, the Tibetan, the Indian Buddhist, or the gradual path win. The Chinese monk with his Subit teachings, he says something like this in the debate, and whoever follow the concepts of good and bad has no chance for nirvana. And this is because whoever is involved in the dual path yeah, he has fallen in the samsara and has no chance to get out. Among Monge Zhang, he says, and his path of Subit enlightenment is for the intelligent ones, and the other path of the gradual is not for those so intelligent. Is a different path. There are two paths, one for the intelligence, other for the not so intelligence. And then Kamalasila said, if you said that your path is not dual, how you can distinguish between the intelligent ones and the non-intelligent ones? It means you are in the dual path. You are just using words to cover your ignorance. The debate is finished. So then they put out back to China, and King Tizun followed the gradual path of Kamalasila, but the way he was a disciple of the bad bodhisattva, Santarasita, that himself was integrating the two schools of India, the only mind school and the Madhyamika school, or the middle path. And this is the fundament of the Tantra that integrates both views. It is true that the Buddha gave 3 times in his life direct introductions. One was symbolic with a flower, yeah, the flower sermon to Mahakasyapa. The other one was the direct introduction to Bahia. I told already the story, but this was from heart to heart, and he gave direct what's called meditation instructions. So he was giving a particular instruction meaningful to be applied. And then he was the other one on the Perfection Wisdom Sutra, where the Buddha manifests profound illumination, and he influenced his emanation, the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, to pronounce the teachings. And then he pronounced the Perfection Wisdom Sutra, and then form is emptiness in very detail, then the aggregates as empty of independent existence, even including the mind, the ordinary mind. He also says that emptiness is form, that means that it's coming back again, and then the mind is present, the senses are present, the aggregates are present, but the awakened mind is present too. The Buddha, what is meaning that the Buddha mind, the primordial wisdom mind in the stage of absorption completely, transcending the senses at the aggregate, this is the true realization, is manifesting through what is called a speech emanation, which is Avalokitesvara, who is talking and is giving the teachings, because in the realization of the Perfection Wisdom Sutra, all the senses are transcend. So that is why is a symbolic, then is through the Avalokitesvara, the representation of the bodhicitta, the awakened mind, then the teachings they came through. And then is given to Sariputra. Sariputra represents the Nirvana Kaya, the embodiment of the Sangha, So it's basically a symbolic form of what is after it will be in the sutras, is the base for what the Vajrayana is starting, the 3 bodies. Now Vajrayana. Actually Dzogchen is the top of the Vajrayana. Guja Garbha, Tantra, in the sense of Dzogchen, is structuring the path, the fruit of the Mahayana. Once you realize emptiness is form, and form is emptiness, so it means the emptiness without attribute and the emptiness with attribute as inseparable, yeah, then it's clear like mind of bliss and emptiness. And those two inseparable, they are the fundamentals of the Vajrayana. So they are going up through the 3 yogas, called Kriya Yoga, Upa Yoga, and Yoga Tantra. And this Yoga Tantra is divided into 3. Maha Yoga, Anu Yoga, and Ati Yoga. Those are aspects of generation, completion, and great completion. And this great completion is, in Tibetan, is Dzogchen. Great completion. Dzog is completion and Chen is big. Great completion. So Dzogchen, the first thing that it does is distinguish between the ordinary mind that it has been left behind on the perfection wisdom when the Buddha or Avalokiteshvara was saying that the mind is empty. All the aggregates and the self-consciousness, the ordinary mind also is empty, so it's left behind. So when the emptiness is formed, this emptiness with attributes, this is the awakened mind. And that is the beginning of the path of the Vajrayana. So then here is distinguished the ordinary mind with the awakened mind. So that awakened mind, it can go up to the Dzogchen. The ordinary mind cannot break through. Once the awakened mind, the emptiness with attribute, the clear light mind of bliss, the child luminosity is breaking through and realize emptiness, and from that time they are inseparable. This mind that has breakthrough, it can have two paths. One, going through generation and completion states, the Maha Yoga and Anu Yoga, or can go straight to the Dzogchen. You break through what is called a reality manifest, the first vision of the Togal, and then after you go through what is called the visions intensify, which is the second, relating to the generation states, and then you go through the third, which is the awareness display, the relating to the completion stage, and then you, what is called, say, the dissolution of the corporal reality, which is the stage of the great perfection. So you can break through if you have accumulations of merits and wisdom from previous life. You're lucky enough to meet, or one, your partner, if you go through the generational completion stage, which is called Karma Mudra, Maha Mudra, or you are lucky enough to have a teacher of the Dzogchen, that is a Vajra master, and directly is giving the blessings, and in front of him, heart to heart, and opens your mind to the breakthrough stage of the Trechagu, the breakthrough and the Togal. But Dzogchen and Zen, they are different. One is based on the ordinary mind, Zen, and the other is based on the awakened mind. Here we like to show you the symbol of the Dzogchen, or what is called the primordial ground. Here you have the Gangel, the wheel of bliss, that represents the ground of Dzogchen, represent the enlightenment mind, the awakened mind, the ground, which it has three aspects: the essence, the natural, and the energy. The essence is emptiness, the natural is luminosity, and the energy is the awareness display of wisdom and compassion. This is how Dzogchen, it has a breakthrough to the essence, to the emptiness, through the awakened mind. It realizes the natural, the luminosity, which is the fundament of all appearances, and on the same time is manifesting the awareness display, the energy of wisdom and compassion. So it's going through straight and beyond duality, embracing. And this is the Dzogchen. That is what the great completion is: breakthrough on the view, on the reality manifest, and embrace all through the energy, the awareness displays of wisdom and compassion. There is a big difference between Zen and Dzogchen. You can integrate both of them. I do. I practice the Miyamoto Musashi, the 5 stands of the soul, and I hold his view, of which is very profound actually, and is integrating this perfection wisdom sutra very clear. When you realize everything is empty, and you realize this emptiness in everything, this naturally, if you understand this directly, it brings you to the empty mind, realize emptiness. and straight, free of concepts. And that is the message of Miyamoto Musashi: freedom and spontaneity. And this is the key of his stand. But you need to practice. He said, you will fight in the way you practice. If you don't practice, you have nothing to offer to the conflict of life. So you need to be trained. Here we reach to the end, my friend. And if you like this video, please give it your thumb up. If you would like to hear more, just click the notification bell so that you can get notified. And I hope to see you again, my friend. Thanks very much, and see you again.